Hi, this is Dr. Bardot, and I'm going to show you how to do problem 11 in chapter 3. So I'm going to make a new project, which is going to be my book project. And I'll make a new class called book. Open that up. So I got a private class called, a public class called book. I'm going to have a private int. These are my instance variables. Current number pages, private int, current page. So those are my instance variables, my fields, my properties, and both of them are integers here. I'm supposed to make a constructor. The directions say to supply a constructor that takes one parameter and sets that to number of pages. So I'm going to say an int. I'm going to call it pages. I don't want to call it num pages because I already used that. And so now I'm going to initialize those variables. So num pages equals pages, and also set the current page to equal 1. It says to provide accessor methods. So I'm going to put those down here and then work out this sample method in a minute. So an accessor method is a public method that returns the kind of thing that we're accessing, an integer in this case, and generally is named get, and then uses the name of the variable, but capitalized. Accessor methods don't need any input parameters. And all they do is return the instance variable that you're interested in. So that's for the num pages. And that's the current page. Now the method that I want to do is a next page method. So I have to think about what comes out of a next page method. So next page method, all it's going to do is increase the current page by 1. I don't need anything to come out of this. I don't need there to be any return. So I'm going to use the keyword that indicates that nothing comes out of this, which is void. And I'll call it next page. I don't need to input anything to tell it to how many pages it's supposed to be, because it just always is supposed to increase it by 1. So I take the current page and increase it by 1, but I should only do that if the current page is less than num pages. So a little validation. We call that validation when we check to make sure something is true before we do something. All right, those are all the things that are supposed to be in my book class. I'm going to compile that. And I failed to put a semicolon. So compile again. No syntax errors. Now I have to make a new class called book test. And it turns out the only thing that's supposed to be in there is a main class. So public static void main. And so I need to make a new book class. So the thing I'm going to make is going to be a book. I'm going to name it book. And it's going to be equal to a new book that has, anytime I use a book class, I have to tell it, anytime I make a new book, I have to tell it how many of the pages there are. It says in the directions here to make a book object with 3 pages. So I did that. then call its next page method. So I say book next page. And I'm supposed to print out what the current page is. So system out println book current page. Get current page. I'm supposed to do that 3 times. This isn't a good way to have things happen 3 times, but until we learn a little bit more about how to make loops, I'm just going to do this. So let's see how that works. I never ended this method. I never ended this method, so that was a problem. Okay, no syntax errors, that's good. Close that up. We can see here that book test uses book. I'm going to go use the main method. And so I said next page, that was page 2. The next page, got to page 3, said next page again. It says page 3 again because you can't, this book only has 3 pages. And that's how it's supposed to work. I hope that's helpful.